All right, Canucks fans, let's talk about Quinn Hughes and why all the drama is overblown and the media needs to stop talking about it. They need their juicy headlines. I get it. They need their juicy headlines because this team basically running it back with the same team. They need something to talk about. Of course, they're going to gravitate towards something big like Quinn Hughes, try to get everyone talking, everyone reading the articles. But let's talk about why that is all dumb and we shouldn't even worry about it this season. We should worry about team performance. I understand that, we should worry about Quinn Hughes because the team could do bad this season, but let's worry about the team performance before we start worrying about Quinn Hughes and his contract because he can't even extend until July 1st. How's it going, guys? I'm CanucksLand. Welcome to the CanucksLand Podcast, episode 4. Today we're going to be talking about all the Quinn Hughes drama, and I'm going to be giving my whole reaction to it, what I think, because I think it's all overblown and it's all dumb, and that the media, they gotta get their clicks. I respect it, but this is what we should worry about this season, and not what I'll give what we should and what we should not worry about. Apologies, but let's first get into what the situation is. So it all started in May of last season when Rutherford held a press conference, and he said, in quote, it may not boil down to money with Quinn. Quinn in brackets. He said before he wants to play with his brothers. That would be partly out of our control, in our control if we brought his brothers here. Everyone went crazy. The media went crazy. I know some fans went crazy. I definitely went crazy at the fact that Rutherford would say this. But yeah, so people were like, okay, so he wants to go to play New Jersey. He wants his brothers to come to Vancouver. Quinn never said anything. For some reason, I didn't write down the direct quote. I've already started this. I don't want to stop and search, but Rutherford said as well that Quinn never directly said this to him, but he said before he wants to play with his brothers in that quote, yet he said after that Quinn never said anything. It's just from what he heard, which is weird. I already thought, the whole Pedersen-Miller thing we should have learned already. Never listen to Rutherford. He doesn't stop talking. Keep giving him the mic because it's nice, it's fun, it keeps everything. The media gets their headlines, but don't give him the microphone because maybe people want to come to the team. It's not going to be as drama-filled. But yeah, Rutherford saying that ruffled some feathers, the fans, some getting upset. Some being like, oh yeah, I think Quinn Hughes would leave. It's kind of obvious to say, right? The team's not succeeding, especially that season. A guy like Quinn Hughes is going to be a UFA, could leave. It's a story that happens in almost every season, where there's a team that's struggling, but they have that UFA who's been there for a while. Maybe they stay, maybe they don't. We've seen it before. It's going to happen at some point where Quinn either leaves or stays, but it's not going to happen at this moment. And then, so Quinn responded to that this season with saying, I don't know, Jim's a smart guy. Jim's doing, whatever he wants to do. I've got a lot of respect for Jim, so I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to twist Quinn Hughes' words, but to me, it sounds like he's just fed up with it. He wants to go play hockey, which I respect. That's someone you want as a captain. He doesn't care. Go win. He just wants to win. That's great. I like the response for Quinn. I don't like what Rutherford said, but now it's even more crazy because Jack Hughes is coming in and saying some stuff. Honestly, I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, I would love for Quinn to eventually I'd love to play with him. And whether that's in New Jersey or what time that takes, at some point I want to play with Quinn. But yeah, that's the question going around. They talk all day about it up in Vancouver, But yeah, I would love to play with Quinn at some point. Jack Hughes isn't saying Quinn's coming to New Jersey after his contract. Jack Hughes isn't saying I want to leave Vancouver or I want to leave New Jersey when my contract's done because I know Quinn's going to stay. He just says at some point they want to play. They're going to play at the Olympics together. That's 100%. Maybe he's saying he wants to play probably in the NHL with his brother, which I can respect. They still have long careers to go. They'll play at some point, but the fact that it's all being said now is driving people, to think these things and think that Quinn's leaving, to think that the Hughes brothers are going to get traded. There is no possibility where we get Jack and Luke in a trade we would have to give up what? We'd have to give up Tom Willander, Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, a first. We'd have to give up too much. Vancouver wouldn't do it. They'd mortgage the future for the now. I think it would be a smart thing, to try to keep Quinn Hughes to bring his brothers in, but I don't realistically seeing it happen. Especially with the cap hits that the Hughes have. Sorry if the energy changed, the phone rang. But yeah, I don't see any of that happening. But Quinn's response to it is probably, I read it and I was like, yeah, makes sense. This is what I thought Quinn would say. I mean, he's my brother. What's he supposed to say? First of all, I don't want to play with him. I'm not even done the quote. And exactly. They're brothers. Of course they want to play together. This isn't newsworthy. The Tkachuk brothers can come out tomorrow and say, I would like to play with my brother in the NHL at some point. You're probably not going to see the huge, media takeover, like, the Tkachuk brothers want to play together. Obviously, it looked like they had fun playing with each other at Team USA, maybe late in their careers, so let's go play. But you're not going to see it. The only reason you're seeing it is because, one, our media coverage is overblown like crazy. They're reaching for everything. And two, Quinn's current contract situation, but also you could say Luke's contract situation. Luke can hold out and say, I don't want to play for you guys anymore. I want to go to Vancouver. That's the other thing. But Luke is going to stay in New Jersey. I think Luke's going to stay. Jack's going to stay. I think Quinn's going to stay. I think he has a loyalty to Vancouver that, if we do succeed, I will get into it a little later. I'm not getting into my thoughts right now. I apologize. But you just said it. I mean, we have contracts and whatnot. He's on a different team. Would it be fun to go play with those guys at some point? Of course. I think if you guys have brothers, you guys would say the same thing. But we do have contracts. I'm excited to be in Vancouver, and I feel like last year was a bit of a failure. We all think that. Except for everyone's like, Quinn Hughes had a good season, you got hurt. But if Quinn thinks that's a failure, I'm excited to see what he does this season. So I feel like I've got things to do here, and I know Jack loves Jersey, and he's got stuff to do. Also, Quinn Hughes just spelling it. I'm happy. That's the leader. He's like, be quiet. I want to say it. Yeah. He's saying to the media, shut up and let me play hockey. Shut up and let me play hockey. Stop talking about all this stuff I don't care about. I like it. Thank you, Quinn. Why the media ran with it. This will be a quick little topic here. It's clickable. Causes panic, and they have nothing else to talk about. I already talked about it. I don't want to go too much into detail, but I'll just reiterate what I said. They have nothing right now. It's a very clickable topic because people are going to be worried about Quinn Hughes leaving, and they have nothing to talk about because this team's rolling over the same team going into this season. The only change really is like a Suter for Evander Kane. We're losing Joshua, probably adding Linus Karlsson. It's not much different. There's not that much to talk about. I know that. I've been trying to make videos all summer. I had a tough time. I was luckily able to roll through the summer, but man, it was tough. I understand it. I get why they want to touch on all these clicky, reach articles, but it's the only reason you're hearing about this. What are my thoughts on it? That was a nice little quick topic there with this long one. I feel like this is going to be a longer podcast. What are my thoughts on it? The Canucks have to perform. You know what? That's what we should focus on all year. We should focus on winning this season. We shouldn't focus on anything behind the scenes. What happens when you focus on all the behind the scenes stuff? All this feud, all this stuff. Product on the ice doesn't do good because all the media attention is because we're not focusing on what's happening on the ice. We need to focus on what's happening on the ice. I understand some of the stuff with JT and Pettersson was about what was on the ice, but it wasn't helping. It wasn't helping that those players weren't doing well because they were under the microscope the whole time. Let's focus on the product. Let's focus on, how this team can get better, what this team can do to get better, what this team has to do to win. I'm excited for this season. I hope they do succeed. But we have to focus on the ice product because Quinn can't extend till July 1st. So let's hope the Canucks, let's talk about what the Canucks need to do good, and let's talk about the Canucks doing good. I'm all for calling out a player having a bad game or having a bad streak as long as you're not attacking the player. And as long as when they do play good, you're still not being like, well, what can happen if a lot of players are streaky. There's point per game players. There's guys like Jake DeBrusk who they don't get point per game, so they have to be streaky. But yeah. Now, another one. Quinn seems like a loyal captain. I really like what Quinn's been saying. I really like that he's, just been like, no one should care. Or I don't care. I'm going to play hockey. He's not saying don't talk about it. He's just saying, I want to play hockey. I want to win. I like that. Good. He's a good leader. All the other stuff that he was saying, too, there was some other stuff that he said during, interviews, during training, not training camp, like the pre-skate kind of training camp. Yeah, I really like what Quinn's saying. I like his mentality. He wants to win. He wants Vancouver to succeed. And he also wants to succeed himself. It's great. Elias Pettersson, the same thing. I'm happy for this upcoming season, and who wouldn't want to play with their brothers at some point? If I had a brother and we both in the NHL, of course, it'd be like, yeah, let's go play together in the NHL. That's awesome. The Stahl brothers played with each other at one point. The Steens played their whole careers together. I mean, they got to start in Vancouver, and they decided, yeah, we're going to stick here, and we're going to stay in Vancouver. We're going to play together our whole careers. Of course, brothers are going to want to play together. It's not newsworthy. Don't listen to it. And that brings us to the last topic. Thankfully, I was able to get through, the last little bit pretty quickly so that this didn't drag on too long. But although I get the panic, don't listen to the noise. Nothing can happen until July 1st, 2026. That's when Quinn can sign his contract to extend with Vancouver. And just like McDavid, I mean, I'm seeing all the McDavid talk because of the possibility, but I never see anything like, you see the McDavid's going to Toronto stuff and you laugh. You see, I think McDavid's going to stay in Edmonton. And I don't think it's because, McDavid can't go anywhere. No team would afford. Every team would be, I would trade Elias Pettersson to, have the chance to sign McDavid. That's how good of a player Connor McDavid is, right? Obviously, I wouldn't do that realistically, but I'm just saying, Connor McDavid's Connor McDavid. Teams are going to do whatever they want to get Connor McDavid. Quinn Hughes is the same thing, but, nothing can happen until... He can't leave until July 1st, 2027, but he can extend until July 1st, 2026. He can shut it all down with an 8-year extension on July 1st, 2026, and then he can make all the noise really happen by leaving on July 1st. 2027. Let's just calm down. Let's enjoy the year. Let's watch this team play great. Let's cheer this team on. Let's not make them focus on other stuff off the ice. Let's go in and help this team, cheer this team, and let's watch them succeed. I think they're going to play great this season. It would take everything to go wrong for him to leave. I do think that is the case. Everything went wrong last season, and we were in a pretty good spot. I know a lot of people are like, well, we weren't in the lottery. Oh, but we weren't in the playoffs. Yeah, we're in the middling grounds. We were kind of just outside the playoffs where you don't really want... If you're a team that's trying to make the playoffs, being just outside the playoffs, sure. If you're building up. If your team is supposed to be in the playoffs, obviously you want to be in the playoffs. But everything went wrong last year. Everything has to go wrong for us to just miss the playoffs again. If half of everything goes right, we could be top three by top three, I mean third in the division. The Canucks will have more cap freedom next season. So if everything goes right this season, a lot of people can see, you know what, I really like what's going on in Vancouver. I kind of changed my mind. I would like to go there. We could pick up a free agent. We'll have lots of cha-ching right there, right? Let Evander Kane walk. Opens a little bit of room in the top six. Add a game-changing top six player, and you could even add someone else because Forbert's contract's going to go. I don't think we re-sign Forbert. We have plenty of young defensemen moving in. We have Kiefer Sherwood, who we have to extend. $4 million. I wouldn't even mind $4 million. I think about 3.5. I think he has a bit of a down season. NHL 26 says he puts up the same amount of points. I'd be happy if he does that, though. And then there's one more. No, I think that's it. That's all the contracts that expire. Teddy Bluger as well. You can replace him with Max Sasson. You could even trade Drew O'Connor and replace him with Max Sasson. Niels Hoglander, if he has a good season. Then you have that extra legit top six forward. Hoglander has to do it for 2 seasons, I think, for me to really consider him a top six forward, but I hope he has a nice bounce back season next season. They need to have the Canucks. Let's focus on the Canucks having a good year. Let's focus on if they can make improvements with the cap space they'll have next offseason. And then we can worry about if Quinn Hughes is going to leave. But that has been that has been it for this podcast. Thank you guys so much for either listening or watching. I'll see you guys next week when we go through training camp. I'm going to talk about training camp a little bit and the battles that could happen. Or just, I think we might be a little bit into training camp, so I don't know if I'll be able to, like, see it, but I'll try to, like, get as much information that I possibly can. Apologies for the voice crack a little bit earlier. That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. The video on your right is the video from Wednesday. The video on your left is the video from Monday. Subscribe's right down underneath there. Make sure to follow or subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.